What's going on, guys? Alpha the Wizard back at it with another video. Today we're going to be covering Chaos Return format from 2006, March to September. Now, I've covered a couple decks already, such as Chaos Return itself, a Chaos Recruiter variant, and now we're going to be covering a Chaos Stein variant. And this deck is very much an OTK deck as opposed to the Recruiter version, who doesn't play many traps and they're looking to control the game with like Royal Decree and everything. This is an OTK Stein deck. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop right in. So to start things off, we play Chaos Sorcerer. This is the heart and soul of this format, as well as like Return from the Different Dimension, but we don't play Return, but we still play the one Chaos Sorcerer. The other variants definitely play 3. We still play Zaborg because it's a generic light tribute summon, and it's also very good at just outing problematic cards. And in this particular build, we are opting to play 3 Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon is really good in this deck just because, just being a big body and a good light target, we definitely have to maximize on Cyber Dragon in this particular deck, especially for our defensive strength. And then we do play Breaker just because Breaker, this card just gets better every format. In this format, you're able to out a Royal Decree, you're able to out a Return from the Different Dimension because you can make them use it early as opposed to holding it. Breaker is just really good at outing problematic cards, this format is particularly. And then we do have to maximize on our draw power. So we are opting to play 3 Dekoichi. Dekoichi's just pretty decent, in history, because definitely just being able to draw cards and set up for the OTK is ideally what we're looking to do with this strategy. And then we do play 3 Nimble Mamamgas. Now you might wonder why we play this. Well, it's because we have to pay 5,000 life points with Cyberstein. So with that being said, this is simply just a recruiter for us that can help us accrue some life points. Nimble Mamanga is definitely necessary in this strategy. And then of course we have the staple, Sangan. Sangan is a staple in every retro deck from this era. Search is pretty much anything that can really facilitate an engine. And then we do play the 1 Exiled for us. Exiled is going to help us to out problematic cards such as Spirit Reaper, Chaos Sorcerer, a Monarch. So yeah, we definitely have to play that card as well. But then we get to the bread and butter, and we are playing 2 Cyberstein. Now, with this being a Chaos Stein variant, you would wonder, why do we only play 2 Cyberstein? Well, it's easy. We don't want to max out on this card just because it's not a good card we want to see. We're only looking to do it one time. But the one that we do get, we want to hold for as long as possible and draw other cards that work with it. So yeah, we do play 2 Cyberstein. And then to buy us a little bit of time, we also play Spirit Reaper. Reaper's really good this format because people are forced to main deck outs to it. So yeah, Reaper is definitely mandatory because we're trying to set up for an OTK. And then we do play 2 Magician of Faith, just in case we have to use some of our power cards early. And also Graceful Charities in this format as well. So it's another good reason why we definitely would want 2 Faith. It's really broken for these old formats. We do play a Magical Merchant just because we want to be able to see those cards that can facilitate the OTK that work well with Stein. But that's really it for all the monsters. This is very much a Chaos deck, but it's very light on the Chaos aspect. Now for the spells, starting with the power spells of the format that everybody probably would play, Confiscation, Graceful Charity, these cards are just a given. Graceful Charity came back, it got banned, and then it came off the list. So pretty much every deck's gonna play Graceful Charity. And we do play the 1 Snatch Steal because this card isn't banned yet. Snatch Steal is just really broken in this format also. Definitely being able to just take a big monster and, even a recruiter to just tribute summon over it is really valuable. And then the OTK cards that we're looking to help facilitate, we do play a limiter removal because we are playing the cyber cards in the fusion deck, because Cyber Twin Dragon, if you limit a removal a Cyber Twin Dragon that can attack twice, it is just devastating. But in addition to that, if you're paying 5,000 life points with Cyberstein and you equipped it to Metamorphosis, Metamorphosis is going to double the Chaos Twin Dragon's attack if your life points are lower than your opponent's, and then you could just limit or removal it for game. So yeah, these are the cards that we want to see off like Magical Merchant. And then we do play Last Will. Last Will helps us to get to Cyberstein a lot faster, as opposed to just playing like a Mystic Tomato, where they can just beat over that and then beat over the Cyberstein. Last Will is helping us to facilitate that, so we don't have to play Recruiters. And then since we are looking to OTK, we are playing 2 Giant Trunade. So Giant Trunade is really good in this format because now we can force the return from the different dimension and save our OTK for next turn, or we could just clean up the field and then just OTK our opponent once we have all the right pieces. And then of course we got to play Mystical Space Typhoon. This particular version does not play Heavy Storm, and you will see why here in a second. But also, in this version, I do opt to play 2 Enemy Controller. Enemy Controller is just a little bit better in this deck right now because you're able to take your opponent's monster too. I keep tying back to that point of just taking their monster, and the strength behind that is just really, really powerful. And Book of Moon, because it is a good interruption, plus, you know, Book of Moon is just generically good at what it does this format. Being able to out a Monarch relatively easy by booking it and attacking over it is really strong. But then also we do play 1 Nobleman of Crossout. Some variants are maxing out on Nobleman, but we don't have space for that. We are looking to have OTK facilitators, but we still have to have at least 1 just in case. And then of course there's Premature Burial. That's without a doubt, you know, we have to have that because it also helps our OTK potential. And then we do play a Creature Swap. Creature Swap is pretty good, especially since we're playing cards like, you know, the Recruiters. I couldn't think of the word, but yes, we are playing the Nimble Mamamgas, so it's like just being able to give that to our opponent and maximize on those are really, really solid. But then we also do opt to play 1 Metamorphosis. This card is at 1, but I think it's still worth playing just for the sole purpose of you are trying to use your extra deck as much as possible in this deck. And that's really it for the spells. Now, to kind of give you an idea as to why we don't play Heavy Storm, it's because we are main decking 2 Royal Decree. We want to be able to stop our opponent from really having anything that counters our Cyberstein combos, and also, you know, we don't play many traps ourselves, but we still play Torrential Tribute and Mirror Force. That just goes to show the power behind these cards. These cards are too powerful not to play, but the odds of you seeing Decree and Mirror Force in the same hand isn't very likely, and if it is, then you're probably going to use the Mirror Force before Decree would even come up. But yeah, that's really it for the main deck. Now onto the extra deck, because this gets really spicy. We do play a Thousand Eyes Restrict. Thousand Eyes is at 1 at this particular time in history. So with this being at 1, it's fine because this isn't actually our central component to our strategy. We are looking to set up Cyberstein and abuse Cyber Twin Dragon, but I will get there here in a second. So next, you know, we still play like the weenie ones, the Dragoness, the Wicked Knight, just because we're playing Metamorphosis. You should be playing the Ghost Flame too, but then also Carbanola Warrior and Dark Fire Dragon. The Fire Dragon's actually better because it's a dark. But then we do play the level 5s, Reaper on the Nightmare, Dark Balter the Terrible, but we also should be playing Fiend Skull Dragon, and we should be maxing out on all these because there's an unlimited extra deck space. And then, of course, we play Ryu Senshi. Ryu Senshi is just really, really good. Generally, these are cards that you're using with Metamorphosis, not necessarily the Cyberstein. But I will get to that in just a second because we still play just like the standards. These can come up with Metamorphosis, but not always, as well as Dark Blade Dragon Knight. So these ones aren't as important, but you know, we still have to play them. But for the level 7, we do play King Dragoon. This card is decent. It's a level 7, doesn't come up too much, but it can in theory. And then for the level 8s, we do play Last Word from Another Planet. We should be playing Gatling Dragon 2 in the extra deck. Pretty much every single fusion that you can possibly play, you should be playing. But then for our Cyber Stein targets, this is where it gets spicy, because we play 2 Cyber Twin Dragon. And this card is a machine. It synergizes with Cyber Stein, Metamorphosis, and you can just Giant True Nade your opponent, limiter removal, Metamorphosis, Twin Dragon, and that is just game, honestly, because now it's doubled and it can attack twice. But also, we do play 1 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which you could just play 3, but I only have 1 in this particular deck because I have a lot of retro decks. But yes, theoretically you could make the Ultimate Dragon, even though Cyber Twin is a little bit better. But we also play Cyber and Dragon, even though we're probably never going to make this. I mean, in theory, we can and use it with limiter removal, but we don't necessarily need to because Twin is just all around better and is the central component of this strategy. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. That's really it for the Stein Chaos profile from Chaos Return format, and I will see you in the next one.